Hi, everyone, and welcome to our video today. My name is Bronson Hill. I'm the Director of Investor Relations with Michael Blanc at Nighthawk Equity, and I am joined today with the one and only Michael Blanc. So welcome, Michael.
What's going on, Bronson?
So glad to be with you today. A topic that comes up sometimes, we have a lot of people that are interested in passive investing and also active investing. So what can passive investing teach you about being a syndicator?
Yeah, so a lot of times someone who wants to be an active investor starts off by investing passively, and sometimes a passive investor decides to become more active. So let me talk about both of those. So if someone wants to be an active investor is someone who wants to be a syndicator. The syndicator finds the deal, raises money, finds a property manager, manages the whole thing. So if someone wants to be a syndicator, a deal finder, sometimes a great way to get started is by investing passively with somebody else. In so doing, they learn the business, they get exposed to it. It actually helps with track record, and it's a great way to get into the active investing. Second thing I mentioned is a passive investor. Let's say a passive investor invests in one deal and another deal and 3-4 deals, and they just really love it. They love the cash flow, they love the tax benefits, and they start blabbing about their friends, and they get their friends to invest. What sometimes happens is that these become active capital raisers, and they focus on raising capital from others in their network and eventually outside their network. And then they might be able to joint venture with syndicators who have deals, and they essentially help them to raise capital. So there's two ways that someone can start off with a passive investing and move into the active role.
So so if somebody passively invests in a deal, what are some things that can teach you about being a syndicator specifically?
Well, shoot, a lot. I mean, first of all, if you're going to invest passively, you're going to learn a lot about multifamily as an asset class, what it is, what the good markets are, what the risks are, what the rewards are. It can teach you how to evaluate opportunities, right? So maybe you don't have to be as detailed with your analysis as someone who's actually doing the deal finding and analysis, but you have to be able to analyze deals and markets and be able to ask intelligent questions and essentially call BS on some financial projection that you see. I can teach you about the closing process, how that works, and what the investing process is in general. A lot of things really, which makes passive investing such a great entry point into active investing.
Awesome. And what about a capital raiser? What are some things that, if I'm involved in a deal passively, what can somebody learn about capital raising?
Yeah, I mean, if you've invested passively yourself, you're very familiar with the process. You know multifamily, you know the risk and rewards, you know the process, right? So because you know the process, you've been through it a few times, it's very easy for you to tell others about it, right? Because you've already been through it. So it makes you a really great capital raiser because you've actually invested your own capital, you've had great experiences, and you're sharing it with friends, family, people at work. So it really, really prepares you very well for a capital raiser role.
So I know a lot of people that maybe watching this have been considering being involved in a deal for a long time or considered it, but what is it different actually being a passive investor is different than you can learn from a book or a course?
Yeah, I mean, Robert Kiyosaki he talks about when he's teaching, he talks about Edgar Dale's cone of learning. You can just Google cone of learning. And it's this inverted cone, and it talks about how much can you retain in 2 weeks based on what you do. So on the one end extreme is that you mentioned book or courses. You'll forget 90% of what you read in 2 weeks if you read a book. 90% of what you read 2 weeks later, you ask, hey, what do you remember? And you remember like 10% of that book. Versus if you have a highly experiential experience, if you do something, you actually like go to the property or you're touching and feeling it. So an experiential experience is actually you retain 90% of that. So, this is in general, regardless of what you want to do in life. You can read a book and take a course, and that's great. But you actually doing it makes a material difference over just reading about it in a book.
So I want to ask you, you're the CEO of Nighthawk. So what are some things that we do to engage with investors to help them learn?
Yeah, I mean, our mission at Nighthawk is to help passive investors become financially free by investing in multifamily syndication. So we're all about educating them, essentially the average investor who typically invests in the stock market or gives their money to a financial advisor about the alternative in multifamily. So we do that in a variety of ways. We do it with videos like this and blog posts. We do it with downloads, a blog posts, and podcasts. We interview past investors on the podcast, but we also try to engage investors with property tours, right? So we've done this on occasion. We're going to do more of them, and that way you can join us, and we'll visit some properties. You can actually touch and feel the assets and ask us questions. We'll do webinars as well. We'll bring in subject matter experts, or we'll just do our Q&A. Anything around really helping people understand investing in multifamily and being comfortable enough to try to invest in it, because the benefits are just amazing. The cash flow, the consistent returns, and the tax benefits.
Yeah, I think one thing I like that we do too is that we're very transparent with our deals. So we'll give a sample deal of here's a deal we did recently, well, the financials, the webinar, and then we'll kind of open our, anything people want to see, any sort of diligence documents or anything else, just people can kind of like take a look and kind of get, the nitty gritty, which is neat that we do. So what are some kind of like some other things people can do to educate themselves to become syndicators just in the process of passive investing?
Yeah, so on our website, themichaelblank.com, you can go to themichaelblank.com/passive-investor, passive-investor, and it gives you a directory of all of our past blog posts and videos that we've created specifically to help you make better investment decisions around these multifamily syndications. We also have that free report, Bronson, that we created. That's at themichaelblank.com/report. It's called "What's the Better Investment, Stocks or Real Estate?" And it really compares and contrasts the two. So it's a great place to start from a free download as well. And then also events, go to these multifamily events and speak to us, speak to other operators. We have our annual conference called Dealmaker Live. It's typically in the summer around July. You can also go to other events. For example, Real Estate Guys have a great syndication event, and other multifamily syndicators have events. It's a great way to be exposed to operators and see what they're doing and have a chance to ask questions.
Well, Michael, I want to thank you for sharing this information. You're just a wealth of knowledge, and I know our audience is grateful. And so thank you for those that have joined for taking the time to educate yourself. If you are interested in hearing about our upcoming deals at Nighthawk, you can go to nighthawkequity.com/join. We'll set up a call with you, establish a relationship, and then you'll get in our deal flow when we do have upcoming deals. So thanks again for taking this time. We'll see you on the next video.
All right, before you go, grab that free report that Bronson just mentioned and subscribe to this YouTube channel. You don't want to miss a video next week. All right, and hey, check out this other video.